I'm Red, and today I'm going to be reading some r/PettyRevenge. Here we go. He asked me to take him to court, so I did. It started in December 2019 and finished a few weeks ago. So context, I was selling an item of clothing on a Facebook group. I wanted either something bigger, trade, or to sell it. This guy, call him Dick, messages me and asks for a trade. That's all fine and we both send off our items. Weeks go by and I go to message him to say I haven't received it, but he's blocked me. I got my girlfriend to message him and he instantly unblocked me and was cocky, saying that he'll return my item if it's that big a deal. Alright, fine. So I wait. And wait. And COVID comes, then August. I remember. He's blocked me again. Again, girlfriend messages him and he blocks her. So I told my mum, I know. And he apologized and said he'd pay me at the end of the month. Again. Okay. End of the month comes and I get a message. If you message any of my family, I'll get you done for harassment and I'll get a non-molestation order against you. A non-molestation order is a type of injunction that may be sought by a victim of domestic abuse against the abuser. I've never met this guy, so Anyways, the message ends with, "Take me to court then." Cue PettyRevenge. I called so many lawyers on this, but because it was only £45, they wouldn't take it. So I sent him a letter saying he's going to pay or I'll take him to small claims. He sent my item back after 9 months and said, "It was stuck at the post office." I opened it and it was disgusting. It was covered in animal hair and had sweat stains galore over it. I messaged him saying it was disgusting and he could have it back if he paid, but he replied, "Guess I'll see you in court." So, I went through with small claims. He sent his defense in saying it was a gift and blah blah blah. Whatever. He also said I sent him abuse. So I'm pissed at this point. Our court hearing was £25 and I paid £25 for it to be sent to the court originally, so I was going through with it. I sent in every piece of evidence I had, every chat log and pictures. March came around and a few weeks before I was going ham looking through court docs. I even called the Royal Mail to ask them questions about post offices and times and shipping. I literally spent all day, every day, focusing on this day. Court day arrives and I answer the phone. Judge is lovely. Then she tries calling him twice. He doesn't answer. After some back and forth, she's pissed and says, "Given that I've called Dick twice and he didn't answer and he hasn't submitted any evidence, I rule in your favour." So, I've got £95 and my item back. I got the court letter yesterday and yep, it's ruled in my favour and he has 21 days to pay or it'll be taken further. Haha, I win. All this over £45. I'm petty and proud. I mean, he asked you to sue him. You were just complying with what he wanted. So often petty revenge and malicious compliance intersect and I love it. Yes, don't you love it? You do. That's good because I have more stories of petty revenge. Don't share my Netflix account unless you enjoy painstakingly translating Korean. My ex and I had been living together for 7 years. Long enough for several components of our lives to be shared, including a Netflix account. The relationship ended after he met another woman back home. We were living overseas at the time and moved out to be with her. To not be petty and appear bitter, scorned, etc., I didn't rush to lock down any of our shared accounts. We're in completely different time zones, so I didn't realize until I was on vacation in the same continent around a year later and received the multi-screen pop-up you get when someone else is using your account at the same time, that he was using my Netflix account. I had, incorrectly, assumed that he would opt to not mooch off me and open a new one. Rather than change the password, I seized the chance to be petty. I changed the settings for his profile so he could only view shows for children under 5 and updated the language settings to Korean. Honestly, it's still one of my finest moments to date. Oh, that is good. That is good. That's really good. So he thinks, oh, I'm going to watch it. And then he has a children's profile, so you can't do crap with that. I mean, there's still some good stuff there. Like, if you like nature documentaries, there's a lot of those. I really love that though. Like, instead of just changing the password, you like thought about it and made it kind of evil and delicious. Yeah. Speaking of delicious, here's the next story. Can't stop stealing my food. Okay, enjoy some dog food. Sophomore housing at my university consisted of 7 students in a tiny 3-bedroom dormitory with a small common space, kitchenette and single bathroom. At the end of freshman year, I managed to organise a pretty decent group of guys to live with, but due to several summer dropouts, we ended up getting several transfer students. Things were sometimes tense, but the original guys usually managed to keep the peace. The biggest ongoing challenge was theft of food. Our private snacks and instant meals were constantly disappearing. Every few weeks we would take turns asking the newer students to not eat our food, but it kept disappearing. Cue PettyRevenge. Sometimes I volunteered at a pet store that sold dog treats that looked like Oreos. I started buying 2 to 3 at a time and leaving them in the kitchen cabinet. Every time they disappeared, I replaced them, always leaving them in their original clear plastic wrapping with pink dog stickers on it. After a few months, I asked a roommate if he'd seen any of the cookies in the cabinet. He said, "Yeah, they tasted like crap." I replied, "That's because they were dog food. Quit stealing our food." Problem solved. I mean, sorry, they have pictures of dogs on them? Dogs. And he goes, "Oh, that just must be a picture because it's cute." Jeez, people suck sometimes. Yep. I promised you that was going to be delicious. And it was, wasn't it? Well, guess what? I have another delicious one for you. I will happily sacrifice a few Jelly Bellies to teach you a lesson. I'm known to purchase the giant jar of Jelly Belly from Costco. Very reasonable price. I don't mind people coming in and shaking out a handful. But when somebody who badmouths me behind my back, always wants in on lunch runs but always promises to get us next time and therefore never actually pays, comes in and takes a whole mug full without asking permission or even saying hi, and makes it clear that she hates me but loves the Jelly Belly supply, I had to take action. We are both early morning people, so there's usually an hour and a half with nobody but the 2 of us in the office. So I knew there would be no innocent victims. You can buy a box of the Jelly Belly game. It contains an assortment of beans that come in identical pairs. One has a good flavour and one has a horrible flavour. Is that bean coconut or rotten eggs? Will you get soap, earthworm, booger, dishwasher? In the game you spin a spinner and eat whatever colour it tells you to eat, and you have a 50-50 chance of getting a good flavour or a nasty one. It's actually a fun game among friends. However, this did not involve a friend. So I happily brought a box of the nasty mix and dumped it in the jar. There are only 1 to 2 inches left in the bottom, so this was a sacrifice I was willing to make. And then I waited. I left my office for a bit, came back and saw there were significantly fewer beans left. Perfect. About 10 minutes later, I heard a wonderful cacophony of gagging, retching, and utterances of disgust, accompanied by what sounded suspiciously like something being spit into the trash can down the hall, with said trash can having a hint of a whiff of rotten eggs. with half a cup of uneaten jelly belly added on top of the trash. The remainder of the jug went into my own trash can. A new stash was purchased, and for the past 2 weeks I've noticed that it's not draining as quickly as it used to. She hasn't said a word to me since. Not that she was actually talking to me before, but at least now she isn't mooching off somebody she hates. I didn't know there was such a thing as a Jelly Belly game, and now I completely want it. I'm gonna Google that later, that's exciting. Is it mean if I play that with my 3-year-old? I don't think so, right? It's fun. I don't know. Okay. I'm really sorry, but that's all the stories I have for you today. But don't worry, there'll be more tomorrow. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Give the video a like. Don't forget to subscribe. And watch some more. And I'll see you tomorrow.